All right. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's 7:30 in the morning. I had about 4 to 5 hours of sleep, and naturally, I'm going to put up my predictions for the Hard to Kill pay-per-view for Impact the day of. So, if you want to know what I think of the pay-per-view, here it comes. So, first match that's advertised is Havoc and Nevaeh taking on Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz for in a tag team match for the vacant Impact Knockouts tag team titles. Now, if you've been keeping up with Impact recently, their women's division has been stellar. Like it's been one of the best parts of the program because they have so many different characters and wrestlers. So it only makes sense that they'd bring back the Impact Women's Tag Team Championships. And they have. And they had an 18 tournament to determine the finalists. I knew Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz were going to go into the finals, but I did not expect Havoc and Nevaeh to do that. I figured it was going to be Jordan Grace and Jazz. And they could have still had their match at Genesis, like if they wanted to, like if they'd just gone into Hard to Kill. Like Havoc and Nevaeh really surprised me, the fact that they are in the finals. So my pick is still going to probably be Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz. Like, I just think they've been really entertaining, and, like, they haven't really had a lot to win, like, since they like, especially Kiera Hogan. Like, I think Tasha Steelz is newer, but Kiera Hogan hasn't really had a lot to sink her teeth into, so I think she and Tasha are going to, like, win the Impact Knockouts tag titles, and I think they'd be a good first pick as the, new champions since they are so charismatic. Now, the second match actually went through a change yesterday. It was originally supposed to be Rich Swann and the Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, going up against Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers, the Impact World Tag Team Champions, Don Gallows and Carl Anderson, with Don Callis. And for the record, Rich Swann is the Impact World Champion, and Kenny Omega, as you all know, is the AEW World Champion. I'm still kind of thinking of what AEW has to gain with this Impact uh, crossover appeal thing, but anyway, now the match has been turned into Moose, and apparently it says right here, Impact announced that Shelley has been withdrawn from the match due to injury. Okay, what? And he got injured again? Boy, that's very surprising to me, but okay. So Moose is in the match, and that makes it even more predictable because Moose is feuding with Rich Swann, who is the for a world title match. So you can, so I guarantee it, Moose is going to cost Rich Swann the match. Kenny or one of the Good Brothers is probably going to pin him. So it'll have heat for their eventual match, and Chris Sabin's probably still going to feud with the Good Brothers somehow. That's how I see that match going out. Now, a triple threat match between Manic, Chris Bay, and Rohit Raju. This whole Manic thing, honestly, to me, has not been that great. And I think it's mainly because the Impact show has really done nothing to show like that's not Manic. Like, if you're gonna do this gimmick where like somebody's under a disguise to get a title that they've been banned from competing, you can at least make sure to not have Josh Matthews and Madison Rain constantly make allusions to the fact that it's TJP. So I mean, Chris Bay and Rohit Raju have been entertaining, and it's kind of cool to see Manic, I suppose. I mean, he has a good theme song and all that. And Manic is how I got introduced to TJP in the first place. So my prediction on who's going to win this is Chris Bay. And I think it's because when Rohit won the X Division title, he betrayed Chris Bay in a triple threat match that also included TJP. I fully expect Chris Bay to do the same here as I turn about to fair play, especially because his X Division title reign kind of just ended abruptly after he had this big win over Willie Mack at fucking Slammiversary. So I think it'd be if you're not going to have Chris Bay in the world title scene for a bit, like have him hold your X Division title. He's a future star, like from what I've seen of him, and he's amazing. So I think he definitely is going to win the Impact X Division title. Next up is Deonna Purrazzo, one of the breakout stars of 2020 in Impact Wrestling versus Taya Valkyrie. Now, Deonna Purrazzo has had victories over Jordan Grace, Sue Young, and Rosemary, um, all to defend her and win the Impact Knockouts Championship. And Taya Valkyrie is the longest reigning Impact Knockouts champion. She was until Jordan Grace beat her, I believe, in 2019, just going into 2020. I don't remember the exact date. So I was so sure that Deonna Purrazzo was probably going to win this match until I saw that she had cost a Taya Valkyrie match against Kimberly on the Go Home Impact. So it could really go either way, in my opinion. But I'm going to be safe and stick with Deonna Purrazzo because they really seem to be turning her into like the next face of the Knockouts division. So there you go. Next match is an old school rules, which basically means no DQ, false count anywhere. 6-man tag team match between Eric Young, Cody Deaner. I don't know why they just changed his name to Deaner, and Joe Doring versus Cousin Jake, Rhino, and Tommy Dreamer. I'm going with Eric Young, Deaner, and Joe Doring to win. Because they are like this new up and coming group, and like Rhino's was probably waiting for Heath to come back from injury. Dreamer's just like putting a lot of guys over at the point, and Cousin Jake has a feud with Deaner, and I will admit it's kind of good. It's kind of cool to see Cousin Jake like hesitate in attacking Deaner. I mean, he did at the Go Home episode, but only after Deaner like slapped him in the face like multiple times. So that was kind of cool. It's kind of cool to see Cousin Jake like go ham on Cody Deaner. I still don't know why they're just calling him Deaner. It's very annoying. Like, I don't like it when WWE just does it randomly, and I don't like it when Impact does it because it's very dumb. Barbed wire massacre between Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan. I don't like barbed wire. It's something that just kind of makes me cringe. And I haven't been really into this Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan feud recently, mainly because I've seen it before, and I'm also kind of uncomfortable with the fact that they made an entire feud about Sami Callihan almost killing Eddie Edwards in a stupid spot in a match. But here we are. This is supposed to be their final encounter. I hope so because I love Eddie Edwards. I'm not too big on Callihan, unfortunately, but I do want to see them do other things. And I'm going with Eddie Edwards to win this, like, because if this is really going to be the final match, you might as well have the good guy come out on top, give Eddie Edwards a big win, which he's been lacking recently. So yeah, not very interested in seeing Barbed Wire Massacre. Like, I know there's probably a lot of wrestling fans who love the hardcore stuff. I'm not one of them. So I do hope you will enjoy it, though. I don't want to ruin your fun of it. And next match is, I'm assuming, going to be like a cinematic match of some kind, is the Karate Man versus Ethan Page. Now, if you don't know who the Karate Man is, Josh Matthews explains like every other week on commentary that it's an alter ego that Ethan Page had, which I will say again is another problem with Impact commentary, is that they will go off about something that has nothing to do with the match for seemingly no reason. Like, Josh Matthews would just literally bring this up out of nowhere, and I'm like, I don't care. I legit do not give a shit because I love Ethan Page as part of the North. This Karate Man thing is basically him in a bandana and boxers, and he's like putting on an Asian accent, like and does a lot of kicks. It's very weird. And apparently they had this segment where Ethan Page and the Karate Man fight about it, challenge each other. Now, I'm of two minds of this. On the one hand, this is very, very stupid, and I'm not a fan of it. Like, they have been building up Ethan Page losing his mind, but there are plenty of ways this could have gone. I'd honestly rather have seen Ethan Page versus Josh Alexander than this bullshit. But I am interested in seeing how Impact goes about filming this, because they did manage to do this in the segment, like having it look like Ethan Page and Karate Man are actually confronting each other. But this is going to be a full-length match. So I'm curious as to how they're going to pull this off. I obviously think Ethan Page is going to win this, whatever this is. I mean, I don't care about the Karate Man. I really don't. And I like Ethan Page. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, I don't hate Ethan Page. He's a great wrestler, and I love the North. But yeah, I don't care about this. I do care about it from a production standpoint, but not from a I actually am interested standpoint. Next is Rosemary and Crazy Steve, 2/3 of the Decay reuniting against Tennille Dashwood and Caleb with a K, aka one of my favorite pairings and gimmicks and Impact. Tennille Dashwood's Instagram influencer gimmick with Caleb, who is Caleb Connolly in like this photographer role, is amazing. This is actually, I think, the best Tennille Dashwood's been. Like, I liked Emma in WWE. I hated her dancing babyface thing. I liked her as a heel in WWE, but I love this new Instagram influencer character. And I'm going with Rosemary and Crazy Steve to win because they just reunited. And I think it'd be a feel-good moment for the show to like have the former Decay just win their match against Tennille and Caleb. And it's not going to hurt Tennille at all because she's already had a lot of wins. And Caleb with a K is probably going to take the pin from Crazy Steve anyway. So that's that. And apparently this is a pre-show match, Brian Myers versus Josh Alexander. I expect this to be a good wrestling match, and I'm pulling for Josh Alexander to win. Because I do appreciate that they're giving Ethan Page and Josh Alexander something to do separately, because I think after their reign as tag champs, I think they could feasibly go into singles competition. Like, I would not mind seeing Josh Alexander or Ethan Page challenging for the X Division or world titles. I really wouldn't. And I think Impact really needs more world title contenders, because I think that's really what they're lacking, is like legit world title contenders. They got Moose, and you could make an argument for like Willie Mack or Chris Bay, but like they're all doing something right now. Like, I think Willie Mack's selling injuries probably. So like I think they do need more world title contenders, and I would not mind Ethan Page and Josh Alexander in that role. So those are my predictions for the pay-per-view event, which is later today. What time today? I don't know. Probably 8 or something, like their usual offerings, or 7. I don't know. So be sure to like this video, comment on this video, especially if you watch the pay-per-view and then watch my predictions and can tell me what I got wrong. And then share the video and subscribe to the channel, because I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So thank you for watching, and remember to stay beautiful, because I most certainly am not going to do that for you.